we just take a second and fully imbreviate this moment together? I mean, we're old friends, we're still friends, and I love you all. I just wanted to say that. But we got a great weekend, just our gang, just us.
Hey!
Hey, bro.
Not here.
Who's that?
That's Daryl. He's just staying here. He's going through some things, but he's not part of the experience at all. Okay.
We interrupt this program to bring you...
All right, everybody. My name is Kevin.
My name is Adam.
And I'm Julie.
And we are the Real Movie Guys. Welcome back to another episode of The Real Review, the series where we review and discuss all your favorite films. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Glass Onion. Famed Southern detective Benoit Blanc travels to Greece for his latest case. Guys, it's Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out. I didn't think we were getting a sequel for some reason for the longest time, and then I remember hearing about it, and I was kind of excited. Right, I'm always down for a good mystery. I know Murder on the Orient Express kind of filled my little niche for that. Was it Death on the Nile?
Death on the Nile.
Yeah, you know, I like mystery stuff. You know, I really like these mystery films. And fun fact, I think it was Knives Out was one of the first videos me and John actually did on the channel. So a little throwback here, following up on our sequels. Now I want to say this: Knives Out, if I recall correctly, it's been a little bit of time here. I wasn't the hugest fan of Knives Out. I thought it was fine, right? I think it was serviceable for the most part. It was decent mystery. I thought the reveal was kind of cool. In my opinion, I thought Glass Onion was a little bit better. Adam, what do you think? I think I might be alone on this.
I disagree with you.
Me too.
Right. Oh no. All right, Adam. So let's start with we'll start with you. I'll let you guys go first here. What happened? Didn't enjoy Glass Onion? Weren't a fan? What's going on?
No, I like this movie too.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. No, I really did enjoy this one too.
Okay.
I just don't think it hits as well as the first one.
Okay. All right. So you thought it missed the mark somewhere along the line. Okay. Julie, how about you? Are you in the same camp with that, or?
I completely agree. There's just, and especially what's different with Glass Onion compared to Knives Out, which there was always a mystery element to Knives Out, but like you knew pretty much how he died in Knives Out. Like you knew that, I don't know, but I don't know. There's just something about the characters in Knives Out that were more intriguing to me. The whole family dynamic is always just interesting. And then nothing like Glass Onion has nothing close to the Chris Evans monologue at the end of that movie. Like,
Yeah.
no, what if I kill Fran? If I have, if I have a good lawyer, which I do, like amazing.
Right.
Nothing in Glass Onion comes close to it. The only thing about Glass Onion that is I like a little bit more is we get more Benoit Blanc.
Yes. And I think that's better for this movie in a lot of ways. So let me start, I guess, because I'm the only positive one here. So I guess I need to be the one that's a little more defending myself, which is fine. That's how I like it. Throw me in the cage.
And again, like with Adam, though, like I enjoyed
know.
Glass Onion. I think it's a good movie.
So what do I think? The reason Glass Onion stands out to me a little bit more, I think, than Knives Out. I don't want to say it's significantly more. Maybe I should make that clear. I just think it's slightly better than Knives Out. Maybe that's what I should preface this with. I think there's a little more style in this movie. I think Rian Johnson as a director was a little more confident with his storytelling to a degree in this movie and his stylized storytelling with the visuals. Glass Onion, I really like the colorful design. I really think a lot of the over-the-top characters. Rian Johnson gets a lot of crap. We're not going to lie, right? I mean, The Last Jedi is not a good movie, but if we criticized every director for every bad movie that they made, there wouldn't be any directors left. It wouldn't be good. Rian Johnson, I think, knows what's fun about this movie, and I think he realized Knives Out, we didn't get as much time with Benoit Blanc as I think we would have wanted, right? Because a lot of he's more later introduced into the story, and he's kind of just there to guide the mystery along a little bit. Here, he's kind of one of the central characters, right? He's actually the one. I like how he's introduced into the story early on, so he's already kind of involved. He's already there, and I think the characters. I kind of disagree, Julie. I think some of these characters are a little more interesting, only because in one way he's trying to do a satire on the whole eat the rich, which he does do in Knives Out, right? It's very similar that way, where the rich are just all these entitled snobs that are terrible people. And this, I feel like he did modernize it, and I know some people don't like that. You know, they consider it the woke culture and all this nonsense. I think Glass Onion...
It's accurate to the culture,
right,
though.
and I think Glass Onion walked a fine line and balanced it relatively well, especially if we're going to talk about all the financial billionaires out in the world that are not Elon Musk, but might be Elon Musk, according to the internet, if you read it any closer. I like how he dealt with COVID. He dealt with a lot of these things I thought were kind of fun and kind of interesting. What about you, Adam? So talk to me a little bit here. Am I reaching you? Am I losing you?
No. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. It's just I think that the characters in Glass Onion, they were pretty cut and dry. Like,
Okay.
I knew what they were.
Would you say they're more caricature than they are characters?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
they immediately like understood who they were and what they were about.
They were
and-
just one note characters. Like Dave Bautista is like a hetero, like a bro, like internet
Yes.
guy about like selling stuff on the internet, being super jacked and like shooting his gun off and being ultra conservative and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a one note character, right?
Yeah.
And was there anything more than that? No.
No, I'm
No.
not really.
But did there need to be? What do you think about that, Julie? Did these characters need to be more for you to understand them?
I want to say no. And the more I look at it, like there are so much similarities, but I feel like there's just a different vibe. Like both movies have that figure that's on that high pedestal where all of the other characters want something from them, which is money. They both want money from that central figure. However, I don't know. I just feel like the bonds were different. Like at the end of the day, it still was family. It still was their dad. Yeah, were they shitty to him? And yeah, were they going to do things to get what they wanted? Of course. But this one, I think it was just so much more transparent where they were just putting up with him. They were getting as close as possible to him because he was funding what they needed to be done. And they were going to do whatever they needed to do to help keep that in place.
Okay, I could see what you're saying as far as that, but I think the character performances stood out a little bit more to me in this movie. Besides Chris Evans, obviously in the first movie, he's fantastic. That reveal is still priceless. I thought Edward Norton was a really good bad guy because he's kind of douchey. It seems like in real life, so I don't think this is too far off from how he normally is.
How dare you? You don't know.
I don't know. I'm just saying, going by stories. He didn't want to be the Hulk again. Hey. He didn't want to be the Hulk again. He did this to himself. I thought he did a really good job with that. Like, that kind of, and I like how subtle a lot of the movie is with his character, where he's always has to be the smartest guy in the room, but in reality is he's the dumbest guy in the room because he doesn't even know what he's saying. There's like a scene where like they show like the art hanging on the wall, and apparently one of the pictures is upside down, stuff like that. I think that's really good that they do that, and I thought he did a really good job with his performance. The other actors. Yeah, I kind of agree with Adam, maybe to some extent, that they are very one note. Like I said, we talked about Dave Bautista, Catherine Hahn, Cade Hudson, Leslie Odom Jr., all really good actors, and there's a couple others too. But again, they are kind of one note. I think Rian Johnson wanted to make more of a social commentary than he did want to make characters in this movie.
True.
But at the same time, I think that's okay because I think the mystery was still really fun because the murder in this movie, comparatively to the other movie, doesn't happen until towards almost the end, like what, 3/4 of the way into the movie, there's actually a murder. And
that was cool.
We won't spoil it here yet. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But I do like that. I think that was kind of cool because we got this really big setup and you're waiting for the murder to happen and you don't know what's going to happen. So it sets up a pretense to like, okay, so who's going to get murdered? And then when someone does get murdered, you have to solve who actually did it. So you kind of have a
and I
couple
will
different
say that
levels of
created
mystery.
and it created a very different animal where there was an immediate sense of chaos and urgency after the fact because it happened in front of everybody.
Right.
And then it's the realization of, whoever did it is here, what's going on, the panic that ensued, trying to maintain calm heads while you actually try to figure out what happened. So I thought that was interesting as opposed to the more slow-paced, methodical. it's already happened. It's done. He's buried. We can take our time now and really try and piece together what happened, where this is still like an active incident.
Right, and you have the whole, like you said, the tension. They're all in the same room.
They're stuck on an island.
Yeah, you can't get away. You have to figure out what's going on. I think that worked
That
really
was funny
well.
too. Sorry to interrupt again. Like when they're trying to radio for help, because he has this special like clear dock that rises from the water, like it's a piece of shite or whatever. And he's like, "What? Oh, piece of shit." Dock.
Yeah, they don't know what it is,
Yeah,
right? And they keep making fun of
it's
that.
high tide, and they can't reach it if it's high tide. Like, so just like stuff like that. Like again, because someone who thinks he's so smart and going for aesthetic ends up like damning them, you know?
Right, and I think that's the main goal he had with this was, he's
Right.
poking fun of all the stuff that's happened since COVID. And again, like I said earlier, COVID is mentioned in this movie, and I do love how it's just casually like thrown away. Like nothing ever happened. And I think the best part is, and this isn't really a spoiler, Ethan Hawke is just randomly in this movie
Best
for
cameo.
2 seconds. And he's the one that administers, like, I guess the serum to COVID to everybody. And it's over. It's never mentioned throughout the rest of the movie. I thought that was
I
crazy.
just love, what does he go? You're good.
You're good. And he's like,
Good.
You're good? You're good. You're good. I'm like, it's Ethan Hawke. And he's never seen or shown ever
Weird.
again. Fantastic. The one like big sin of this movie, and I don't know if this is more of a me thing, is I don't like the way the story is revealed. So what I mean by that is, when you tell a mystery, I kind of like a straightforward mystery, and I like to be able to put the clues together, figure it out. Get to the end, we're done. This movie does the thing where it's like you tell your story twice. Right? So the first half, we have the whole setup with Benoit Blanc, and, he gets invited to the island and goes to the island. Shenanigans happen. Someone gets murdered, and then someone else gets murdered. The movie stops, and he's like, I'm going to tell you how it all happened. They reverse all the way back, and you tell the same story again from a different perspective, and that's kind of how they reveal what's going on. And if you ask me, that's just like retelling your movie, and I don't like that. I don't like double backing from a different perspective. Granted that you can kind of see where everything happens, so compliments to Rian Johnson with the tight script writing. You can see where things happened. Like, it makes sense where certain events or certain things have a little more context and they make more sense. But at the same time, I personally don't like that retelling of a mystery story when you try to solve your plot. Adam, what do you think about that plot storytelling for a mystery? Are you a fan of that, or?
Yeah, I think that's where this movie doesn't hit for me, because in comparison to like the first one, where we're actively trying to solve the mystery as the movie's going on, and then all of a sudden with this one, it just kind of rips it off like a Band-Aid. All of a sudden they're like, all right, here's how it happened. And I was like, well...
And let me tell you everything that happened. And it's not that there's not clues, but I don't know if maybe they don't give you enough information to figure out what's going on. Right?
Right.
You definitely, of course, any mystery, you're going to have missing information, but there should also be just enough to where I could have figured it out. But I mean, I guess you can figure it out. I think it slows down the pacing is the big thing for me. It really just like slows down the movie. It's like, I already sat through this. It's not really as exciting as I think they want it to be, to find out like, oh, this is the secret scene I didn't see.
Right.
I didn't
You're
come
getting
across
missing
that way
pieces
today.
of information. Like, I will say most mysteries do that, but not to that scale, I guess. Like when you do have like the big reveal, like in Knives Out, like once they figure, then they do like quick cuts as he's explaining it. You get that quick cut to like Chris Evans doing it. Same thing like in like the Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, but they're quick cuts and it's as it's being explained, as opposed to, like you said, taking that huge detour back. And then you're still not done.
No, and the problem is
those final pieces in place yet.
And the problem is it's a lot of information. And we'll talk about this when we get to our spoiler section. It's a lot of information to go back and tell. But I think, if that was my biggest critique, I think that is, and I actually would lean with you a little bit, Adam. I think they are a little bit too caricature-y, some of the characters. Maybe if I had a little more motivation, I could have seen it being them. But I think once you get to when the murder happens, you have a pretty good idea of who the culprit is and who did it. I don't think there's much mystery as far as I would have liked. So maybe that even makes that whole going back and telling the story even more frustrating, because I kind of know who did it. I just need to figure out how he did it. And God, I hope it makes sense, because we're going to watch this whole movie all over again.
Well, if anything, I feel like they tried to use that time to cast more doubt and suspicion on some of the other characters.
Yeah, and
I would be like, yeah, no, I don't buy it.
And I think that's part of it. I don't think any of them had There's one clear character I think it can be, and I don't think anybody else had enough time or motivation to do what I
Right,
thought.
but that's exclusively what that flashback thing is for.
Yeah.
They literally at one point draw up the little clue.
Right.
M and O, motive and opportunity.
Motive and opportunity. So I think
And then everybody at some point has those boxes checked.
Yeah. So I think it's time we can go and talk a little bit about spoilers before we wrap up our final scores here. So if you're not interested in this section, if you want to watch the Knives Out Glass Onion movie for yourself, skip to the timestamp below, and that'll get you right to the final scores. Otherwise, you've been warned. This is the spoiler section. So this movie, it does something now, Adam. I don't know if this bothered you too. It's very cliche in this movie. The twin, the bull.
Oh, yes.
This is what this whole movie really relies on. It's a really big mystery cliche that we've seen a million times over. I would argue it's not anything new. What did you think? So we find out that Janelle Monáe she has a twin. Right, her twin sister was actually friends with Edward Norton, and Ed Norton stole the company from her and then murdered her, and he's the one that actually murders Dave Bautista.
But nobody knows about the murder.
Nobody knows about that murder, and then murders Dave Bautista, which I thought that
really
was fun.
suicide.
That's actually what I didn't expect. I did not expect Dave Bautista to be the one that was murdered in the movie.
Right.
I thought that was kind of fun.
Yep.
But it's very cliche. What did you think of that? She pretends to die, and what did you think, I guess, is what I want to say about the reveal and everything.
I think I'm torn because as cliche as it is, I really liked her performance. I
Yeah.
thought that she was a standout character in the movie by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it's difficult because
And she added heart to it. I think that was it too. In a room full of assholes, she's the schoolgirl Southern sister, stepping in, so that added more heart to the story.
Yeah, and I think it's fun too. I think her character was really good, so that made the reveal, a little bit better that she didn't die. I didn't think she did die. I pretty much had my suspicions that when she shot and fell over, like, okay, I don't think she's dead unless there was going to be 2 murders, but
I was depressed. I'm like, this poor girl.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to happen. And then the twin thing, it was just very cliche, but at the same time, I thought it was really fun.
I feel like they throw that
the
stuff.
story.
In old school mysteries, there's always like the secret twin.
But like I said earlier, the biggest thing for me that I think really sold this movie is when he reveals like how Dave Bautista actually dies, where he's allergic to pineapple juice and he squeezes the pineapple juice into his drink. And the one, I think it's Kate Hudson.
Right in his hand.
Kate Hudson goes like, "Oh my God, it's so stupid. It's brilliant." And you just see Daniel Craig as Benoit "That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. And it's not clever at all. It's just stupid."
Yeah.
And it's I love that because it's not even brilliant at all. And that surmises the whole character for me right there with Edward Norton, like saying all these words that aren't even words and his fake art that's upside down and trying to pretend to be the biggest guy in the room. And again, you
couldn't even come up with anything.
He couldn't come up with anything original. And the fact he even steals the idea to murder someone in their room from the actual detective, because that's how he gets the idea to even murder someone in the first place, to murder Dave Bautista. He gets the idea from Daniel Craig, like all these people in the room and they want to murder you. He can't even come up with a murder scheme that's original to his own. I like that. I think that really worked. It worked well as a commentary on like such a pathetic character, and I think it brought the story really together for me. And her revenge at the end is just as sweet. I do feel bad for the Mona Lisa, though. They did burn the Mona Lisa. Maybe you shouldn't have done that, though.
Someone posted like there was another, his whole island blew up. Did you really have to burn the Mona Lisa too?
Yeah, and I questioned a little bit with that. Maybe that was one of the things. Some of the B plot stuff wasn't really that interesting, especially with like the alternative fuel source. And I felt like if you like ignited that, that would have just killed everyone. I don't know.
I agree.
That was maybe something. If I couldn't buy that, I mean, I couldn't. That was the one thing I couldn't buy in the movie was how they all survived, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It really didn't add much to the plot for me at all.
No, and I think that was the weakest part, right? No one really had a clear motive that I could see them killing anybody else for it to like secure their position. Right. It was really only Edward Norton's character, Miles, was the only character that I could see doing this. There was no one else. Which I guess that kind of lends to some of the negativity, where I guess there was more mystery in the first Knives Out movie where we weren't sure who really did it. I think we had a bigger suspect list. And then the reveal happens, and Edward Norton's just still Edward Norton. So I mean, maybe his speech wasn't as grand as the whole Chris Evans reveal. It definitely was a little bit flatter. But again, I think the revenge was a little bit sweeter in this movie because, especially, can't arrest him, can't really do anything about it at that point because they're not going to turn on him. So she gets her revenge, and then all the friends kind of roll on him and give up their position.
Well, no, I think he is going to be.
He's going to be, because they roll on him at the end. They said, we're going to turn on you and stuff like that. So that's kind of nice. It's nice to see. And it kind of just fades to black. It kind of just ends the movie, which, again, I kind of like that. I think it's simple. I think it worked. Last reveal I did also like is Benoit Blanc's boyfriend, Philip, played by Hugh Grant. That was maybe the biggest mystery of the movie. Did not expect that.
Yeah, I should too.
Hugh Grant moment.
Benoit, get out of the tub. I can't. I love that. That was great. Best reveal of the movie. But anyway, I think it's that point. We've talked as much as we can. Ryan Johnson, you did a decent job, I think. Let's get to our final scores. I'm going to give Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, a 7.5 out of 10.
Dookie, I've been calling you. You gotta answer me when I call.
Oh, will you shut it? We've been over this a million times. I told you when me and Whisker are alive, you gotta let us do.
You tell your mother to shut up.
Sorry, it's just when we're live.
What?
When we're...
What?
Jeez, Mom, I'm sorry.
I had a good time with this. I think I'd watch it again. It's not... I think it's better than Knives Out. I think if I were to regrade Knives Out, it's been a while since I watched it, so I'll go back and watch that video, see what I said. I would give Knives Out maybe a 6.5, 7 range. I think this was just a little bit better. I think I would actually go back and watch Glass Onion again before I'd watch Knives Out. I know all my co-hosts here are giving me weird looks. I just genuinely enjoyed it more. I think there was. I like the I like the commentary. I like the over-the-top characters. Everyone was fair game. I'm always down for an Eat the Rich storyline. I had a good time, guys. Benoit Blanc. I can't wait to see his next mystery. This definitely makes me excited for what's next to come with him. Adam, where do you stand with this film?
See, I was gonna give Glass Onion a 7.5.
Sir,
What is that?
open, please. You won't be needing that anymore.
I won't.
You're good.
What is that? Is that some kind of disinfectant? Oh,
You're good. Have a great trip, everyone.
Because I still enjoyed it, but a Knives Out, the Knives Out, the original one, I would give that like a 9.5.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So that's just kind of where it's I still enjoy the movie a lot, but that first one is just unstoppable for me.
See, I'm not there. I'm not there with the first one.
6.5. Oh, my
Well,
God.
that's really low.
That's blasphemous.
So what are you at, Adam? Adam's going to give it a 7.5?
I'm gonna give it 7.5 as well. It's still a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's a fun. I like Benoit Blanc is a great character, and I'm very excited to see more of him.
Interesting. Julie, where do you stand with this movie?
I'm going to give Glass Onion a 7. A flat 7.
it's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
Just doesn't and also, actually, you know what? Partly out of spite. Maybe I would have done the 7.5, but you giving Knives Out a 6.57? Forget that.
What can I say? Hey, listen, I'm not here to, that's what I thought about Knives Out. That's my opinion. I'm here to talk about. I'm sure when people come and comment on this video, they can tell me how wrong I am for thinking my opinion. I am
about Knives Out and a Glass Onion review.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I think I'd go back and watch this one again before I'd go and watch Knives Out again.
I do want to go back, and I want to see, because now we're out of spoiler territory again. I want to see the things actually play out in real time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the actual crime.
And I think that's how a movie holds up, right? I think maybe on a second viewing, I wouldn't be as kind for Glass Onion if I watched it again. But also at the same time, if I could see all the pieces fall into place, which I think they will relatively well, I think it's a solid mystery. I think it is, and I think it's a good time.
No, it was good. Yeah, I still enjoyed it.
The contention here really is my opinion on Knives Out. This just totally turned on me. This is what you guys learn. Sometimes you just got to keep your opinions to yourself. Don't
You
say
should
it.
title this, review, a glass onion review and a Knives Out controversy or something like that.
Knives
Needs to be a
Out.
little
Yeah,
master.
the Kevin controversy, splitting the Real Movie Guys over his opinions on Knives Out. But anyway, guys, in the comments below, let us know what you thought about Glass Onion. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like the mystery? Do you want to see more? Ryan Johnson, has he redeemed himself for The Last Jedi? I don't think so. We're still working on that. But hey, I mean, miracles can happen, right? But let us know what you guys thought. Until next time, my name's Kevin. That's Adam. That's Julie. We are the Real Movie Guys. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye.
If you guys like what you've seen here today, consider giving this video a like and leaving your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay up to date with everything Real Movie Guys related, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget, all you audio listeners at home, we are available on many podcasting platforms. Just search The Real Movie Guys, you should pop right up. Thank you again all so much for joining us on this episode of The Real Review. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. Catch you next time.